Hi, this is Mark from Android in Canada. Today we're doing a review of the Motorola RAZR HD LTE. That's exclusive to Rogers at the moment. So, this phone is not much different than some of the other ones that are out there, but there is some defining features for this one that do put it above the rest. The main one is the battery. The battery is significantly larger than your standard 2100 milliamp you'd see on the LG or anything, or the 2300 and some of the Samsungs. This one has a 2350 milliamp battery, which is a little bit smaller than the American cousin. Well, the American cousin has the same one, but the RAZR Max has the 3300 milliamp battery. So it's definitely a much bigger than the other ones out there, but it's definitely not the largest on the market, especially with the Note 2 out there. So the other thing that puts it above the rest is the build quality of this phone. I can safely say this is one of the nicest phones I've ever used. The build quality is excellent. On the back here, it's got a Kevlar back on here, and it has somewhat of a rubbery texture, so it definitely feels good in the hands. And it definitely is a lot stronger. You're not gonna damage this back that easily. Along the edges, it's an aircraft grade aluminum, I believe it is. It's around the band, so it kind of gives the same look that some of the iPhones have with the metal around the band. And it's got a Gorilla Glass 2 on the front for scratch resistance on here. Definitely, considering how well it's built, you definitely probably don't need a case for this one. Although some people, if that's your thing, that's up to you. Along the left side, you have the micro USB right here for powering. You have the mini HDMI port, and you have the tray here for your SIM card and micro SD. When you get the phone, you'll be given a little guy like this one, and this will just go in, and you'll poke it out. And then that's where you get your SIM card in there. And there's another slot in here for the micro SD card as well. I don't have one in there right now because I don't have many of them around, but you can put them in there, that's your thing. It's got 32 gigs of storage, so that's usually more than enough for most people will need. On the right side, you have the power button, and you have the volume rocker. Now, the power button, if you look closely, it's made of a high quality metal, machine metal, it's got a nice feel to it, nice textured feel to it. So definitely you feel like you're getting a good grip on that one. And then the volume rockers here also have a little texture to it. These definitely feel really high quality. Along the top you have the 3.5mm headphone jack here, and along the bottom there's nothing, just the two screws to take it out. So obviously, because it has those two screws, this is non-replaceable. You can't take the back cover off. That seems to be the way that phones are going nowadays. So you can take it or leave it, but that's how it is. So it definitely helps because it does have a water-resistive nature to it. So you can get it wet and it doesn't have a problem. In fact, I was using it in the rain and it seemed to have no problem using it, and the capacitive screen didn't have any problems. On the back you have your speaker right here, and you have your 8 megapixel HD camera with LED on here. The speaker is not great, especially if it's sitting down. You can't hear very well. There's a lot of distortion, but if you go for some of the LGs, they are the same way. You have to get some of them like the Nexus 7 where it's on the edge. The front-facing camera, you have, I think it's a 1.3 megapixel, and it has an LED light in here. This LED light is actually very nice. Definitely not too bright, not too dark, and it's good positioning. So if you turn on the screen here, this is a Gorilla Glass 2 screen, and it's a 4.7-inch Super AMOLED screen. So it is pen-tile for those who are really against it. That's what you get. but it's other than that, the colors are quite good. I don't have a problem looking on it, but then I've been using the Nexus phones, and those are all Super AMOLED as well. So the actual way that the software, this is running on Ice Cream Sandwich, a Motorola's version of it. And if you really want a stock experience without going with a Nexus phone, this is what you want to get. This is definitely the phone that's closest to the stock experience that you're going to get. But they've done some few different things, and you see it in Ryan's video when he went over the Atrix. But instead of having, obviously they don't have the toggles like you see in a lot of the other custom skins. But they do have if you drag to the far left, they do have a quick settings menu. Now the problem with this isn't editable. You can't change this. What you see is what you get. But a lot of them do cover what you may or may not need for that. Additionally, if you drag all the way to your right here, it'll give you an option to add another page, a blank page, or you can have a template. And this will preload. You can have a media, mobile office, tools and utilities. So you can set up one of those ones. The other thing is if you pinch to zoom, you can go through your managing screen, so you can jump through all of them. Like I said, they do have this one quick settings. I'm not a fan of it though, because if you're anywhere, you have to scroll all the way to the left to get it. And if you're in an app, so let's say you're in call, for example. There's no way to get those settings. They're always accessible if they're in the top screen. So that's kind of a drag on that one. What is nice is they do have their widget is very nice. This circles widget, definitely high quality. You can have the different weather. And then this just opens up, it's all AccuWeather. So it's actually very, very nice. I would love to have used it on a third-party launcher, but they don't let you do that. It doesn't let you run them. I've tried it with Nova Launcher. Okay. So and you can see, here's the notification light. You can see kind of how it glows. It does have a different color for different notifications. I think it's like blue for text message. This one's green for an email. So if you get that notification, it shows up. It should show up in the circles widget. I guess it's not showing up right now, but it usually shows up in there. So one of the concerns I have with the layout it has is, now they have the micro USB and the mini HDMI on the side here, which is good for dock connection because you can sit in the dock and that's fine. But the problem I have, and you can see if I plug it in here, is because I'm left-handed. If I'm ever using the phone, that doesn't work really well for me. I got to use it with my right hand if I'm ever using it plugged in. Now that's not a very common occurrence because this phone has a really good battery, excellent battery, so you're not going to be charging it that much. But if you are using it, you're left-handed, you're not in any luck. So I wasn't able to test how well it is for sunlight on the screen, just because we haven't had much sunny days lately, so it's been pretty rainy. But it does look very nice. It does look bright. I have no problem seeing it looking at the screen out during the daylight. This one is running a Qualcomm S4 dual-core processor at 1.5 gigahertz and 1 gig of RAM. This is it's pretty smooth, actually, I have to say. It does run very well. I have had it stutter and slow down when I'm doing a lot of things. So like I've loaded this phone up to a lot of apps, and it does slow down if you're doing a lot of intensive stuff, but not too bad. I mean, for most people, what they're going to be doing, it's not a big problem. If you are power intensive, you do like the extra RAM, then you're going to want to probably go with something like the LG phones, the Nexus 4, if you can get your hands on it now, or any of those ones that do give you a lot more a lot more power. But for most people, this should be more than enough. It does run very well. So like I got Nova 3 running in here. Just load it up here. Okay, so now it's loaded up, so we'll just hit press to go. It does run not too bad. As you can see, it runs quite well. You will get some slowdown, some stuttering. I'm not that great at this game. Anyways, it does run very well though for this one. Let's see if I can run some benchmarks in here. The benchmarks, we'll just run it in 2.2. We'll run a quick benchmark here just so that you can have a look. Oh, this one's already got it rated, so I can run it again, but this one's got it rated at 65, 68. We'll run a quick one here. Okay, so looks like the test is done. So it gives her on the same one, 6596. Which puts it just above the Galaxy Note under the Asus Transformer Prime. So it's not the greatest of phones, it's not the worst of phones either. It's a formidable one, but if you definitely are craving that extra performance, you're going to want to maybe look somewhere else for that. What you do get out of this one, and part of the namesake, the RAZR HD LTE, is its LTE speeds. And I have to say, this thing is fast. I haven't used much before this, and I've gotten quite comfortable with it. So we can open up the speed test, and I've ran some tests already, but we can just run a quick one because it's very fast, especially in Port Moody, it's kind of out there, but you still get some pretty good speed. Look at that, I'm getting 61 megabytes per second. That's actually probably one of the fastest speeds I've seen. So this thing really races. You can see some other tests I've done. It does vary. Sometimes I've been running them on HSPA+, sometimes I've been running them just on LTE. But the LTE, especially in my area, it just goes. So you're definitely not going to be disappointed with the speed of this thing. So another thing to note is about the home screen layout. The way it's set up, it's definitely a new way of doing it. If you're used to most Android devices, your main home screen that you go to your home button is in the center, and then you have 2 to your left, 2 to your right, or however many you want to alternate. This one sets it up so that the leftmost is your home screen, and that actually it's not that bad. I mean, once you get used to it, it does become quite fluid. My one concern is I do miss the overscroll effect you get with some of the other phones. So if you go to the end, it's supposed to, give you that overscroll boundary, which does feel nice, but this one doesn't do it. Also, your backgrounds don't change. Your background won't scroll with it. I haven't found a way to get this to work. So you're trapped on that end. I've noticed that it has degraded the quality of my experience. Didn't realize it would that much, but it does. So the other thing that does annoy me is in the top left here, they've taken up a huge amount of space just to put the carrier in there, Rogers. So it's not it's not great. I would prefer if that was a bit smaller, but that's kind of how it is. The battery life on this one is relatively freshly charged, so you can't really get a good idea yet. But let's see if I can't find. I did take some screenshots of the battery life. So this is one example. The screen does eat a lot of it, but this one is 17 hours before it went there, and this is with some regular usage. There's some more of the data speeds that I run. This one went down around 40% in 4 hours, which seems like a lot, but it's not. But if you look at your screen on time, it's almost 2 hours, half the time it's been on, and the screen does eat up a lot of juice. If you're not using the screen very often, then you definitely will see a significantly long battery life out of this one. Also, it does make use of smart actions, which you can use to help your battery. So I've already set a few of them up. I know Ryan didn't do it when he had the Atrix, but I went ahead and set up some of them, and it does work pretty well in the background. You don't even have to think about it much. Like for example, I have my home battery saver. It'll look for different battery charges, and if it's not charging, then it'll put it in battery. It'll reduce brightness. You can set it up. This takes a bit of playing around to use it, similar to stuff like what is it? Stuff like a Tasker. Tasker will do something similar. This has got a nicer display for it though, and also it gives you a lot of preset rules. So if you go to add more, you can add a custom one, or you can have several different ones. It does have a drive smart rule, which will do certain things if you start driving. The driving is done with a widget. I believe it's a widget. Drive smart. Yeah, so this widget will go, let's say go here, and if you click that one, you can use existing rule. So now it's off. So if I hit that, it'll turn on drive smart mode, which will put you into their view. It's kind of similar to the Google car one, but it's their own vehicle home that works just as well. So on the home screen, and I know Ryan's touching it too because the Atrix is similar, it has, again, this little toggle at the top, which is very nice. You can toggle between the sound on and off. And it does have different options for here. So you can go into phone, you can go into text messaging, you can go into your camera, or you can just go to unlock. So if we go to your camera, the camera is definitely, it's pretty much the same as what you've seen with the Atrix. It has a lot of the same options. This one does have HDR mode though, so you can see it does have the HDR mode. So it is a very full-featured, very nice, nice camera app, really well structured. My only concern is that the camera quality is not great. You do see there is some fuzziness, some noise that you do see, and that is definitely a downside to this camera. I've seen some better cameras out there. This is, you don't want to get it for the camera. Basically, there are other ones that do have better cameras for you, but it's passable. I do have some shots that I've taken. So I've ran with these different ones. This looks like I might have to adjust the screen brightness. So you can see, I'm not sure if this is the HDR mode or not, but there is some noise in here. these are different exposure settings, so you can see how you can kind of get a different view. I can upload these pictures on there though, so you can have a look at them. The video is quite good. There's some when you do zoom in though, because I was zooming in quite a bit, you do some quality. I got the autofocus. The autofocus doesn't work dynamically. I had to click on it, but maybe I just didn't do the right settings. But it does work pretty good. So, like most of the other Motorola phones here, it does have the on-screen keys. It doesn't use capacitive ones, and which is good. And I really do love that. But it does seem like there's a lot of wasted space on the bottom. I know Tom would not be a fan of this. You know, it gives you a place to hold, I guess, but in general, it does feel like there's quite a bit of wasted space here. It would have been nice if they could have done something with that, but that's how they designed it. So the other thing too is it's 4.7-inch screen, and they chose to go with more of a hard rounded corner, which is Motorola's thing. But for someone like me, I have smaller hands, so when I go to reach across, I do get some poking in my palm there, so that's not great. It's not often I have to do that, but there is some times which I do have to reach to the top right, and that can get pokey, especially if I'm doing one-hand operation. I would like something rounder corners. Some of the Nexus devices do tend to use rounder corners, but they chose to go this way, so that's that. So a lot of the apps, the email app is very good. It does have a lot of touch to zoom, which you can't really get. Here's the text messaging app. Looks very nice. Looks professional. I definitely have no complaints about it. It gets the job done. So yeah, this is the Motorola RAZR HD LTE. Good phone, excellent quality. I would definitely recommend it if you're in the market for a really good LTE device. It definitely gives you a close to stock experience without having to go that route if you definitely want to get it. It's available on contract. It's available on contract with Rogers for $99 or $99.99 or $100 for a 3-year contract, and it's also available month to month for $549, and you can buy it outright for $600. It's available now, so if you want to give the new Motorola ones a try, I definitely recommend them. Then head on down to your Rogers and enjoy. Alright, thanks for watching. This is Mark from Android in Canada, signing off.